Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Sun City in Arizona on this absolutely gorgeous, beautiful Serenity Sunday. So how's your day starting? Is it good? Is it fantastic? No, do you still need another cup of coffee? I know some people need some extra energy to get up and go, but I don't. So each their own. But today it's Serenity Sunday, and I'm not in the car. And you're probably wondering, Helen's usually in the car on a Sunday. What's going on? Well, I actually have a call in like 30 minutes with a friend. We're going to be talking some business stuff because it's the only time that our schedules clicked. And then after that, we're going to head off to the dog park. And so we've already teed up with Eric to meet with him and Chloe, so that Chloe and Zeffie can run ragged in the dog park together because they love playing with each other. They love since they met in the dog park, they've been getting more aggressive when they see each other and play, and so we want to give them a chance to get off the leash and run wild. So I've told them that I had this call, be about an hour, and I said, so I'm going to text them when we're getting ready to leave so we can meet them up at the park. Then they can run ragged and we can go on our Sunday mystery drive. Maybe. I don't know. It's looking a little cloudy outside right now. Well, the sun's trying to get through. But it's meant to be a nice cool day again today after we got into into the low 90s yesterday, and now we're back into the mid 80s today. So yeah, the weather's kind of doing this right now. But I don't mind. I don't care. So yeah, so that's why we're not in the car right now. We'll be in the car later. And we will go out and we've already had breakfast, so we're not going anywhere for breakfast this morning. But we will go to the dog park, let Zeffie run some energy off with Chloe, and then we'll go for our Sunday mystery drive to wherever. We'll figure it out. But so what are you doing today to relax, to refresh, to rejuvenate? I do have to do my planner for the week. I haven't done that yet. I try and get it done on Saturdays, but yesterday was a busy day. And then my Amazon order did not arrive last night. I think it was like around 8 o'clock I checked, and they said, oh, we're sorry, we can't deliver your packages today. It'll either be tomorrow or Monday. I'm like, what? So I went into the tracking thing. Now, remembering, the stuff all arrived at Surprise Dispatch Area at 2:30 in the morning yesterday. 7 p.m. they changed it to the fact that there was delayed transit. And I was sort of like, how do you get delayed transit on something that was delivered at 2:30 in the morning? So I was sort of like, well, that kind of sucks. So maybe I'll get it today. Maybe I'll get it tomorrow. I don't know. So I'm going to have another look when I get off this to see if they have an update on that as to when it's actually going to arrive. So we shall see. We may come home from the dog park and everything will be here. But if it's looking like rain, I really don't want to not be here when they arrive. So we'll have to play the day by ear and see what happens. But your tell your story question of the day: do you know more than one language? How many do you know? And what are they? And when did you learn them? Now, I've met people that will speak 5, 6, 7 different languages and all of that. And it's because of where they grew up. Some people grew up, like I met the first time I met somebody who spoke more than 2 languages. I was in my teenage years. She was from Switzerland, so they spoke Swiss German, French, English, and Spanish because of the area that she lived in and traveled around at the time. So there's there's different varieties of reasons as to why people learn more than one language. And when I was moving out of the house in California and putting the stuff into storage, I had a guy there from the Ukraine who was actually an Olympic rower. He was in charge of the crew, and he spoke 5 languages at that point, and he was finished heading back to Europe, and he was going to go to the Netherlands to go to medical school to become a cardiologist like his dad. I'm just like, okay. I said, why the Netherlands? I'm sure the Ukraine has medical schools and all that because he'd done some of his medical degree stuff. He says, oh, because I want to learn Dutch. And I was like, wait, hang on, you already speak like 6 or 7 languages and you want to add Dutch to it? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So he was going to medical school to learn Dutch. I'm like, and you're going to medical school, which is a difficult topic anyway, and you're going to learn Dutch on top of it. I was like, good on him. Good on him for that. But me, I speak one language fluently, that's English. I know a little bit of Maori. I don't know as much as I should, because it's something that we were taught at school. We had our Maori culture lessons when we were at school, learning all about the Maori culture, how they came to New Zealand, the interaction with the Europeans, and everything from there. And we did learn some Maori in schools, like we learned the basics. And then when we got to high school, you could actually take Maori language as an elective. Or French was the other one. I think it was French was the other one. So yeah, so I don't know Maori as well as I should. But, I pick up little words here and there. So how many languages do you speak, and when did you learn them? I know some people grow up in areas where it's multicultural. Some people grow up in families where we had neighbors back east, and I remember he was Chinese and she was Vietnamese, I think it was, or was it Korean? She was either Vietnamese or Korean, and he was Chinese. And they brought their children up to know both languages as well as English. And when they spoke to their father, they had to speak in Chinese. And when they spoke to their mother, it was either Korean or Vietnamese, whichever she was from, because I can't remember. And then they had English for school. So they were growing up in a trilingual house. And I said, well, that must have been interesting when they were younger and learning to talk, because they would have had their own version of those three languages together. And they said, yes, it was very entertaining. raising their daughters to be trilingual. And but I thought, at least they're passing on their culture to their children. And it's probably when they go visit their grandparents or other members of the family where they speak the languages of their ancestry, that the kids would then be able to understand. And it's part of their culture. They learn the culture of their heritage and things like that. And I thought that is such a cool way to raise kids. No, that one must have been Vietnamese, because the other house was Korean, where they had a Korean mum and dad, and the kid had to learn. They had, what do they call it? What do they call it? Like Kolingish or something, I think they called it, because that's what their daughter started speaking. It was a mixture of Korean and English. So we had a very diverse neighborhood. We did. We had a very diverse neighborhood, which was awesome. I loved our neighborhood. We had a double cul-de-sac, 18 houses on the 2 cul-de-sacs, and we were our own HOA. And it was a very, very cultural rich, very diverse in culture. And it was fantastic. I loved it. I love seeing the kids out there playing. It didn't matter about their cultural backgrounds or anything else. They just got out there and they played together. I loved seeing that. And everybody got on with everybody else. It was just it was a great thing to see, and to hear the kids with their different languages and stuff was awesome as well. So we had Korean, Vietnamese, Chinese. What's the other one? English. So there was at least 4 languages that I can recall. There may have been others, but I can't remember them. But it was really cool to hear the kids talking in different languages and things. There are some languages I absolutely love to just sit, even though I have no clue of what they are saying. There are some languages that are just beautiful to listen to. And then there's some that are really, really harsh in their sound. So it's kind of interesting to listen to different languages being spoken, even though you have no idea what they're talking about. I've got to be in the right frame of mind, but I will occasionally watch a foreign movie with subtitles, or a TV show, but I have to be in the right mood to do that, because you're trying to watch the action on the screen as well as read what's going on, what they're saying. But there was one TV series that I loved, which was called Generations. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a French-based program, so they spoke French the whole time. And I loved the first season. The first season, they had a really cool detective. He was reluctantly put with this genealogist who was absolutely fantastic. And she had this connection up at the convent where they were archiving all these records and digitizing them all. So she had her contact up there to help her with the research and everything else. And it was very much a lot of showing the research and things, and very different stories, very different cultural backgrounds. So you got to learn the history of what was going on at the time as well. Whereas the second season they had a different genealogist, same name, but she was a completely different person. She was younger, she was more modern. Her place was completely like minimalistic compared to the season one who had the old house. She cycled a bicycle. She got on a bicycle and rode everywhere, and it was what you would think of a genealogist's house. Overflowing bookcases and files, and I'm sort of like looking at her office as you see her sitting in there working. I'm like, oh, that is like my dream room. Floor to ceiling bookcases just overflowing with books. Although I wanted kind of a second level with a floor plate, a balcony that you can walk around. And I want one of those ladders that you can get on and go up to get books and things. I'm gonna put that in my log cabin. I just designed a room for my log cabin. I just got to figure out where to put it and what else is going to go in my log cabin. I know the outside. I just got to figure out the inside. But it's kind of fun. And it was a very fun thing. Whereas when they brought in this other woman, she was very different. All of their cases were very much the same. And so the second season was not as good as the first season, but I loved the first season. The second one, the genealogist seemed very harsh, not as approachable as the first one, very different lifestyle. And it seemed to be a lot of woman-based in that one. I got to go back and see when it was made to see what was going on in the world at the time that made them do this big major switch. But there's a lot of other people, and when I went back and read the reviews after I watched the second season, so I was really disappointed with the second season. And I was reading all the reviews, and everybody else agreed too that they did not like the second season at all. They would have preferred it to be a completely different genealogist that came in, not somebody who had the same name as the first genealogist. So sort of like transition of that person moved away or that person died, and now they've had to bring in another genealogist instead of trying to carry on the same character, but with a completely different personality, completely different outlook on everything else. And so, yeah, it was kind of interesting, but I enjoyed that. And it took me a while to watch them because I had to be in the mind to sit there to read the subtitles, but I enjoyed it because you could hear. And there's times I would just like stop and just close my eyes and just listen to the French being spoken, and then I'd have to wind back just to read what did I miss. But I was starting to get good at picking up words here and there as well. But anyway, so that's your question of the day. Do you know more than one language? How many? What are they? When did you learn them? Write about learning them. Write about some of the languages that you know. Why did you learn that particular language? Was it something because it was a parent or a grandparent who spoke that language and you had to learn to communicate with them? In some cases, it's been the grandparent is the one that hasn't learned English and still speaks. What is my dog doing? I'm sorry, I got completely distracted by my dog. She suddenly sat up and her nose was in a pause, like going like, so obviously there's some flying insect around there that's attracting her. Maybe it was a grandparent who came to this country and has never learned English. So you have to learn their native language in order to communicate with them. So what circumstances were around? Or did you just choose that you liked languages and you decided to learn as many as you could? So let us know in the comments below, or make sure you journal about it so your kids know about it, or generations to come know that you had this interest in languages or why you had to learn more than one language. And remember, if you have any questions regarding family tree research, obstacles you may come over, then let us know. Private message me or drop them a question in the comments below. We are going to be starting a Family Tree Answers series very, 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 very soon. In the meantime, we're still doing our Tuesday night Family Tree Answers during our evening live. And good morning, Kathy Baxter. She's over in Toronto. So, Kathy, do you know French over there? Oh, no, hang on, that's Quebec. But you may still know some French. You may do. Hey, Adrian. Oh my gosh, I haven't spoken to her in years. Your mum watches Korean TV. Does she understand what they're saying? That is awesome. Awesome. So anyway, go out, have a super fantastic sparkling day. And we will catch you guys back here around 6 p.m. this evening. And we may do a live from the dog park if we get there, based on when my Amazon order is supposed to arrive. So have a super fantastic sparkling day. Hey, Conera.